1 month running over 1,000 kilometers in the mountains of Nagano, Japan's Marathon Mecca. 1 house, 40 girls, 1 guy, me. Now, who would have thought that a culturally enriching homestay with an elderly Japanese couple would actually turn into a runner's Playboy mansion? I've just returned from the Japanese mountains after living and training with pro runners for the last 4 weeks. Now, let me tell you, their lifestyle is very different from Western pros. From routine to diet to training, it was an unreal experience. And today, I'm going to share all the juicy details, reveal all their secrets, so let's get into it. So if you haven't seen the video before this, give that a watch first. I explain what I'm up to in Japan, how I got here, why I moved here. But basically this past month, I've been doing the homestay part of this scholarship program. And so the idea is that you live with a Japanese family, immerse yourself with the culture, practice the language. I had a slightly different idea, so I wanted to be up at altitude, pretty much escaping the Tokyo heat. I mentioned it maybe a few times in the last video. Absolutely ridiculously hot in Japan, humid. I've sweated straight through this one. Now enough chat, I'm absolutely boiling. Horrendous. Don't come in summer, that's my best advice. I was complaining about it, but genuinely it's unbearable. So my plan was to head as high up as I could to the mountains. And luckily, the scholarship program happened to know this family that owned an athlete dorm up in Sugadeira. So it's like 1,500 meters up, 5,000 feet. Perfect running place. Every summer, all these different teams from around Japan, like uni teams, high school teams, pro teams, everyone goes up there. And the best part, so the family that own this dorm, all the athletes there happen to be females. It was me and a bunch of like 40 different girls that were coming in and out, staying a few days here, a week there. And I think everyone was wondering, what is this strange white guy doing, speaking baby Japanese? But I think they loved it deep down. And the deal was I was staying for free, but I'd help out with the family. So in the kitchen with the cooking and some of the cleaning around the house. But I'd be like making some food, prepping it, and they'd always be coming up to the counter and chatting to me. I'd be trying to use my broken Japanese. I'd be teaching them a bit of English. It was perfect. My Japanese genuinely did improve so much because the level of English is very low. So you're almost forced to speak exclusive Japanese. Tell you what, the Japanese have mastered a lot of things. Coffee, it's not one of them. Absolutely horrendous. So right now I'm actually just killing time because I've had to go to the immigration office. They finally tracked me down. They've realized that there's a registered speedophile on the loose. So of course I've had to be called in for questioning. But yeah, I've actually got to sort some stuff for my visa. So I'm going to be starting this work placement, which is the next stage of the scholarship. And so I've got to change from a student visa over to a working one. So hopefully today we don't get deported. Yo, we done it, boys. I'm a free man. Managed to con the officer, and now I'm back on the run. We go again. And what's even better, I actually managed to get a 1-year visa. So I thought it was going to be 6 months, but we've actually got another 6 months on top of that. So plenty more time in Japan, plenty more vids to come, and more importantly, time to get training, to grind out those miles, and one day become a marathon monk. Now there's only one way to celebrate, with a sweet treat. I love a little pastry, so it would be rude not to. Now in Tokyo, there's plenty of foreigners knocking about, but in Sugadeira, this completely remote village, middle of nowhere, different story. And I actually asked my homestay family about this, and they were pretty sure that I was the first ever white runner to venture to those lands. And I did feel like some exotic creature. It was hilarious. Like every time I'd run, just everyone would be like just absolute disbelief. This strange white guy running along, they'd never seen anything like it. And I definitely got a fair bit of attention. By the end, I felt a bit like a local celeb. So I've definitely been missing that since coming back to Tokyo. I'm not quite as special, don't quite stand out. So one of the teams that was there, this uni team, they taught me a new word. So in Japanese, nomi hodai, that means like all you can drink. And a lot of bars do unlimited drinks for like an hour. It's actually mad, £5, like $5 or so. You can drink as much as you want. And he's aimed more at the Japanese because they don't drink as much. But yeah, if Westerners go there, they'd absolutely clean up. But anyway, they taught me this word, erabi hodai. And this basically means all you can choose. And they were referring to the fact that there's this team of like 30 girls staying there. And they were basically saying I could have my pick of the bunch. Because the funny thing is, every time someone met me, the first question they'd ask would be, do you have a girlfriend? And then when I'd say no, they'd all start celebrating, like clapping. I've never seen anything like it. Unreal. Oh, take me back. I think my life may have peaked during that homestay. So right now we've got the less glamorous part of running 1,000K a month. It's the recovery, the S&C, stretching, core, all of that stuff, basically to keep my body in one piece. So actually I spend half my time doing that. And while I am, let's talk about a day in the life of a pro Japanese runner. Got the flags in the background, you gotta represent. Come on, England. So I followed along with the routine of these pro runners while I was there, and everyone seems to do the same thing. So wake up 5 to 5:30, early start, and they're not messing around, there's no coffee, none of that. It's straight outside for morning practice, 6 a.m. So before the run, everyone does this strange stretching routine, almost like a ritual where they start chanting, counting like 1, 2, 3 in Japanese as they do each stretch, but as a team in unison. And then they head out for an easy jog, usually about an hour, 12K or so, and every team does this. So it's always easy in the morning and then your longer stuff, your session in the afternoon. And everyone runs on the same loop, the same road course. Oh, rolling out the back, very tight today. But something that surprised me was that regardless of age or gender, every runner out there double-dayed every day pretty much. So even these like high schoolers, 15-year-olds, they're still running twice every single day, doing 20, 25K probably on average, which is huge compared to Western runners. Even at uni, like on my guys team, very few people are doubling. And yeah, you've got these tiny little girls smashing out huge mileage. And I guess you either break, a lot of them were injured, but if you can hack it, it turns you into a machine. It's that base for the half marathon. It all starts young. So then after the morning jog, you got breakfast, and it's a classic Japanese breakfast, little different to your Western pastries or your English fry-up. And actually, I've got to say, I think I prefer it. Sets you up for the day, plenty of energy, very well balanced, and it's not like you're heavy, sluggish afterwards. So it's usually stuff like rice, fish, meat, salad, pickled veg, miso soup, natto, which is like this slimy fermented beans. Great for your health, but not the best tasting. And sometimes that have bread as well, but usually rice was the staple. And I was going through like 6, 7 bowls a day. I was absolutely cleaning up. I was living off the rice. So then at 9 o'clock, usually the pro runners would have work for a couple hours, but on training camp, they could chill. And this is where they'd get a massage, they'd do some stretching, they'd take a nap. So very much focused on the recovery, running first over everything. They're not going out and hitting the shops or having a little wander. It's very much, yeah, recover for the next run. And then they'd have a light lunch. That'd be a little onigiri, a rice ball with some fruit usually, because at 3 o'clock you'd have the session. And this is what I was struggling with, because I'm used to doing my big stuff in the morning and then I can chill, I can relax kind of in the afternoon, just jog at like 5 p.m. But running at 3, I was heavy. Some of those track sessions, I'd smash like some noodles and a couple bowls of rice for lunch and then just be unable to move later on at the track. But before they did track work, they'd always do some mobility stretching. They loved all that, the recovery stuff and the injury prevention. And then they'd do their workouts that would be maybe on the track, something like 5K, or on the road loop, like an 8K tempo for the girls. Because a lot of them are focusing on shorter distances. Their ekiden, like the relay races, tend to be a bit shorter. And when they're running, so even for an easy run, they're never talking, which I found so weird. So you've got everyone in a big group, like the group's the focus. It's all about group running, but there's no fun. You're taking all that fun out of it. It's not about with your mates, like a bit of banter, none of that. It's dead silent, no speaking at all. And you'll have the coach following behind in a van. Like, he'd be like writing down each split on an easy run. So the attention to detail is crazy. They'll even the course, they'll measure out each K. So they won't go off the Garmin split. Can't trust it because it could be a meter out. It would throw everything, the whole timing would be off. So they have to get one of those meter wheel things and literally do it by hand, getting every kilometer around this course. They can get the perfect split. And then after training, the next ritual is they head to the onsen. So it's like a heated hot water bath thing. I've only been once and unbearable, ridiculously hot. So I felt like my skin was melting. I came out bright pink. But all the Japanese athletes, they swear by it. Like after training, recovery, they think the hot water helps the muscles kind of rejuvenate and prevent injuries, that kind of stuff. And that would be followed by dinner. And that would be similar to breakfast, like some kind of rice, pasta, fish, meat, often both, but like big dinner, big breakfast, pretty massive meals, and then very little snacking around that. And almost no processed foods. That was the biggest difference in diet that I noticed. So pretty much everything is fresh. There's no processed food from the shop. It's all made from scratch, so very healthy. So in the evening, they sometimes have a tiny little dessert, like a 2-mouthful pudding. I'm absolutely craving sugar. I've got the maddest sweet tooth, but they're very strict with the diet and they weigh absolutely nothing. Like the guys are 40 kg, 45 kg. I look like an absolute unit out there and I've lost a lot of weight compared to before. And then after dinner, there'll be a little coach's meeting and he'll run through the day, like what they've been up to. And actually before every run as well, the coach will give them a debrief on like what splits they have to hit, what's the purpose of the run, and then they'll all meet individually as well with the coach. And after every run, so they write in this notebook, like a full page detailing everything about the run, like their condition, how they felt, how much they were sweating, every split, and every team did this. So yeah, the attention to detail is just huge. And then they finally have a bit of chill time for an hour or so and then head to sleep at 10. So they're not getting tons of sleep, like maybe only 7 hours, I'd say, on average. And I think Western runners prioritize sleep way more. Out here, no one's getting 8 hours. I was seen as crazy going to bed at like 9 so I could get my 8 hours in. But my teammates, so they're not pro runners, they're all amateurs. They're genuinely getting 4 to 5 hours, most of them. I don't know how they function. I would be broken. I need my baby sleep. Nice bit of stretching, foam rolling. I'll do a bit of core now, keep the abs working, obviously for aesthetics, nothing to do with running. Then I'll head out for a double, the standard 12K, about an hour or so, get on the trail at Yoyogi. And while I'm doing that, we can chat a bit about my training, the 280K week, legendary stuff, and how I structured that, how I survived the mileage. So while I was in Sugedera, I hit my biggest mileage vlog to date. So over 4 weeks, managed to get 1,040K in the bank. Huge. And not just that, but the elevation was monstrous. 4,000 meters a week on average. But I did manage to peak at 280K, so 40K a day, basically a marathon every day. And you're looking at about 3 hours of running plus, yeah, a couple hours of S&C, stretching, boots. Basically a full-time job, just I'm getting paid nothing. So any brands watching this, any representatives from any brands, please help a poor boy out. I'm going through a sickening number of shoes and I could really do with a sponsorship. So the structure of a 280K week would go Monday long run, Wednesday fast track session, Saturday fartlek. Those are the big three, plus a midweek mid-long run, and the rest is just easy jogging. So the high mileage was very similar to what I've done before in other training blocks. So that's a staple. Any good running week, you've got to get the miles in, but the actual sessions were very different. So recently I focused all on the speed, lots of shorter reps, and trying to get that kind of 10K half marathon time down. So then the marathon feels easier. So the top end, that speed, that is my weakness, my kryptonite. I've got no wheels. And so I think to improve my marathon, I have to work on the shorter stuff. So my plan since Gold Coast Marathon is to do this big speed block, some fartleks in there, some track work, all short reps, no tempo. Then with 8 weeks to go till Fukuoka, I'll switch it up and start the marathon phase. Run complete, and it's starting to get so dark in Japan. I got about half of it on the trails before it went pitch black, absolutely lethal out there, so I had to switch it up and hit the road. But yeah, before this this marathon block, I'm gonna put the speed to the test. We'll give it a little go with a half marathon. That'll be the next video, Ichinoseki half, registered speedophile on the run. Till next time, this has been Ran to Japan. See ya.